These audio clips are so disturbing that they've either been locked away in the police archives or destroyed. The clips have never been released to the public and probably never will, so clearly we will not be able to play the tapes. The recordings cannot be found on the internet or anywhere else. Number 5. The Japanese Cannibal audio tapes. Issei Sagawa was a man from Japan who in 1981 killed and partially ate a Dutch female student by the name of Renee Hartevelt. Born in Japan in 1949, in 1977 at the age of 28, he was forced by his parents to go to the Sorbonne University in Paris, France. While he was attending the university, he met a student by the name of Renee Hartevelt. She was a young Dutch woman. After they met, Issei quickly became obsessed with her. He had admitted that he had an obsession with tall European women. On the day that he murdered her, he invited her to go to his apartment. Once she arrived, he pretended that he needed her to record German poems for him and set up a tape recorder. She began to read a poem about death, and during it, he shot her in the back with a rifle. She died shortly after. He then got an electric knife and removed more than 7 kilos of meat off her body. Over the next few days, he consumed some of the flesh, and along with this, he had sex with her corpse. He recorded the entire event and also recorded the poem and the gunshot. He then placed her body in several different positions and situations and took photos of it. He was eventually caught while trying to dispose of her body. He lost a suitcase which contained her body parts within a park. The police found it and managed to trace it back to him. He was dubbed in the media as the Japanese Cannibal. Although the police released several graphic photos of the victim and much gruesome details, they never released the audio tapes to the public. It's believed that no one other than the police have heard the tapes. Also, if they have yet to be destroyed, then they are stored in the police files. Following the murder, Issei got off almost completely free. During the trial, he claimed that he murdered Renee because he needed to absorb her power as it was part of an artistic act. He was declared insane and spent a year in a mental hospital. He was then transferred to Japan, where he lived as a free man. He became quite a celebrity and starred in erotic films and wrote books. The most latest news was that he was working as a freelance artist for nude paintings. He also stated that he wishes to die slowly while being eaten by a tall Dutch woman. Number 4. The Killdozer audio tapes. The Killdozer was a name created by the media, which was used to label the vehicle used by Marvin Hemia during his rampage. Marvin was an American welder and muffler repair shop owner who lived in Colorado. In 2004, he made headlines in the media after he went on a rampage in a customized bulldozer he had created. So how did the madness start? A concrete supplier by the name of Mountain Park Concrete offered to buy the land his muffler shop was on so that they could build a batch plant. He originally agreed, but then changed his mind later on. In 2001, the zoning commission agreed to allow the plant to be built. Marvin appealed against this, but wasn't successful. After authorities reviewed his shop, he was fined $2,500 as some safety standards were not met. He then tried to start a petition to stop the construction of the plant, but it failed. This is what led to the madness. He had purchased the bulldozer in 2002, 2 years before the incident. Once construction of the plant started, he began to customize the bulldozer. Notes found at his home had revealed that the main reason behind the bulldozer was to stop the construction. The bulldozer had plated armor covered over the cabin, engine, and tracks. The bulldozer was explosive proof and immune to small firearms. He also had many gun holsters attached inside the bulldozer. On June 4, 2004, Marvin drove his bulldozer through his former business, the concrete plant, the town hall, the office of a local newspaper, the home of a judge's widow, and a hardware store. The rampage lasted 2 hours and 7 minutes, destroying 13 buildings and knocking out gas supply to many others. Luckily, no one was killed. After his bulldozer got stuck within a building's basement, Marvin killed himself with a handgun. Just moments before the rampage, Marvin recorded many audio clips in which he explained his motives for the attack. He sent them to his brother, who then forwarded them to the police. Although the police released sections of the tapes to the media, the full tapes have never been heard and probably never will. Number 3. Moore's Murders audio tapes. Ian Brady and Myra Hindley murdered 5 children between July 1963 to October 1965. Taking place in Greater Manchester, England, the murders are now known as the Moore's Murders. The couple met at Myra's work and quickly became obsessed with each other. They would frequently go to the cinema and watch X-rated movies. Their first victim was a 16-year-old by the name of Pauline Reed. It occurred on the 12th of July 1963. Ian had told Myra that he wanted to commit his perfect murder. They picked up their victim in a van. Myra was driving while Ian followed on a motorbike. Myra tricked the victim into entering the van as she recognized her and asked her if she would help them find an expensive item that they lost. They then drove into a mall. Ian forced the victim out of the van and led her towards the mall. He then sliced her throat and left her to die on the floor. Ian then went and got a shovel to bury the body. Over the next 2 years, the couple killed 5 children aged between 10 years old and 17. They had also sexually assaulted their victims. During the murder and rape of a 10-year-old girl, they recorded the entire audio of the event. The 13-minute tape was found within a brown suitcase at lost property at a train station in Manchester. Also in the suitcase were many photographs of the victim. The only people who have heard the tapes are the jurors and the mother of the victim. The mother claims that the audio will haunt her until her death. The jurors found the tapes so sickening that they stated they were quite unusual. The British court revealed that they have no intentions of releasing the audio. The tapes have been described as really strange. It's said to contain different music, including Christmas jingles. Over this, the voices of a man and woman and young girl are heard. They then go on to torture the young girl. The couple were finally caught after an attack went wrong and police began to investigate their home. They found a corpse within a room. The couple got life imprisonment and later on went to confess to the murders in the 1980s. Ian is still alive and in prison, but Myra died due to heart disease. Number 2. Grizzly Man Death Audio Tapes. Timothy Treadwell was a bear enthusiast who filmed and studied bears in their natural habitats. He lived among grizzly bears in the Katmai National Park in Alaska for 13 years. On the 5th of October 2003, Timothy and his girlfriend Amy were killed and partially eaten by grizzly bears in the park. During the time of the attack, either Timothy or Amy had set up a video camera but did not remove their lens cap. The recording lasted for 6 minutes. The only sounds heard on the tape are agonizing screams of Timothy being mauled alive. After the initial attack, there is audio of Timothy being dragged away by a bear. There is then a deafening scream by his girlfriend once she is left alone and the bears begin to attack her. Once the pilot who was sent to pick them up discovered the scene, he informed authorities. Authorities gave the tape to Timothy's ex-girlfriend. There have only been a select few who have actually heard it. Filmmaker Werner Herzog made a documentary called Grizzly Man. It followed Timothy's life in Alaska and also included some footage of his final days. Also in the film, Werner was granted access to listen to the tape. After listening to it, he insisted it must be destroyed. The tape is now locked away in a bank vault. There have been supposed leaks of the tape on the internet, but they have all been proven to be hoaxes once compared to the official transcript. Number 1. David Parker Toy Box Tape. David Parker was a suspected American serial killer and known torturer of women. Although no bodies were found, he is believed to have murdered up to 60 people from Arizona and New Mexico. Ray had created a soundproof truck trailer which he referred to as his toy box. The trailer cost him $100,000 to modify. It was equipped with whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, leg spreaders, surgical blades, and saws. It's believed that he tortured countless women within the New Mexico area from the 1950s to the late 1990s. He was eventually caught in 1999 after one of his victims escaped. After the police searched his property and toy box, they came across tapes which are now known as the toy box tapes. They were recordings of David's voice instructing the woman on what they were about to endure. He explained why they were there and what was going to happen to them. The tape has never been released to the public and it remains in the police archives. The transcript of the tapes are available online and they are truly disturbing. David was convicted of kidnapping and torture in 2001, but he was never convicted of murder. He died just a year into his sentence due to a heart attack. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our videos. Goodbye.